Whether you had the pleasure of knowing me personally, heard the smooth, docile tones of my voice in our content, or bumped into me randomly at the supermarket while doing your Sunday shopping, you will know that I heart Persona 5. The art style, the gameplay that makes turn-based RPGs exciting, the intricate story arc revolving around an eclectic cast of characters, all wrapped up in what I believe is the best soundtrack to a game I've ever heard. I fell in love with Persona 5 from the moment I started playing, and by the time that the credits rolled some 100 plus hours of gameplay later, I was an emotional wreck on the roller coaster ride it took me on. So much so that the only real criticism that I've ever really had about it was that it was quote unquote long. I say this to put in perspective the hesitation that I felt when I first heard that Atlus was releasing Persona 5 Strikers. Every Persona game from 3 on has had their fair share of extended story releases, such as 2020's Persona 5 Royal, and they've all had their spin-offs like Persona 4 Dancing All Night. So when I first heard of Persona 5 Strikers, my immediate thought was, please don't tell me they're doing a Persona version of a Super Mario soccer game. Fortunately, this was not the case, which is what makes Persona 5 Strikers so unique. It's the first time that a numbered Persona game has gotten a legit storyline sequel. Please note that there will be some brief minor spoilers from the first few hours of the game and some of the gameplay and mechanics. If you want to know absolutely nothing about the game, I suggest you stop here, go play the first 5 to 8 hours, and then come back for the rest of the review. That being said, I'm Tim from Some Kind of Entertainment, and this is my review of Persona 5 Strikers. The basics. Now, there is some debate on whether Persona 5 Strikers is a canonical sequel. From a personal standpoint, I feel that both Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal end on pretty much the same note. Justice has prevailed and our heroes go their separate ways. Regardless, it is a storyline sequel for our beloved Phantom Thieves of Heart. Mysterious events are all happening over in Japan, just as Joker and company all reconvene 6 months after the ending of Persona 5. Sadly for them, the fallout from their shenanigans from that game means that the finger is immediately pointed at them. Thus, they are forced to get the band back together for one last ride. Quite literally, as you all hop into an RV and hit the road during your summer vacation. Joined by a new member simply called Sophia and police investigator Zenkaiichi Hasegawa, it's back to the metaverse with you. Exploration. From an explorational standpoint, Strikers is very much the same. There are still sectioned off portions of Japan that you can roam at your leisure. Buying items is more streamlined. You do not have to visit one store to buy weapons, another to buy health items, and other various ones to get accessories. Everything can be purchased online via your cell phone and delivered to you. There is the added benefit of visiting whatever shops are around you, as you can pick up unique items not found in the main store. Most of these include HP and SP healing items, but you can occasionally find a cool accessory. There is a bond system as per usual, although instead of building bonds with individual members, you level up bonds with everyone at once. While in the metaverse, areas are more open to exploration, and battles are started by interacting with enemies or getting spotted. There are items strewn about everywhere and secret areas to find treasure chests. One of the biggest differences that I noticed was that time only advances if you progress through the story in the real world. This means you can come and go for the metaverse as often as you like, which is great if you're running low on HP or SP, or have been noticed too much that the security level has gotten too high. Combat. It's Dynasty Warrior style, but with Persona 5 flair. You can still do ambushes, one-mores, all-out attacks, summon from your catalog of Personas, use gunplay, and perform showtimes from Persona 5 Royal. Albeit, the showtimes are only for one character instead of having to deal with a duo. Admittedly, all of this does mean that there is a little bit of a learning curve. Once you grow accustomed to it, it's super fast-paced. Battles can last mere seconds if you get to jump on enemies. There is a chance that you can spawn tougher enemies that are larger and have health bars that take longer to defeat. Boss fights are super exciting with this playstyle. There is also the bonus of environmental weapons. Cars, skateboards, and cane-shaped balloon structures all around you can be used to dish out massive hurt on those silly enough to be in your way. In one particular awesome chain of events, I was able to hop on a street pole light, start an ambush that immediately led to an all-out attack on a group of enemies, then leaped over to a nearby car, shot it, and it exploded. And then, once it was all said and done, I activated a showtime with Joker to wipe out whatever remaining enemies were left. After I picked up my jaw from the floor, I sat there and exclaimed, "This is so cool," like I was 12 years old again. To be fair, that doesn't mean that this game is absolutely perfect. To be critical, you can make the argument that the sequel pulls a little too much from the source material. The story beats follow a mirror image of the first game closely. Events happen quickly, giving you the feeling of why exactly am I doing this? While it speeds up the process leveling up all your bonds in one time, Often the only way to do this is through story advancement or winning battles. There are certain moments while exploring that one of your comrades will ask you to go and do something for them or with them. However, these are mainly played out through talking heads on the screen as opposed to actual cutscenes. The combat can feel a bit button mashy when you are in boss fights. Often you'll mean to do an attack, but you are targeting an area you can move to and are suddenly across the map. Oh, and remember how I said it was fast-paced? Well, that's true. However, for the first few hours of the game, you're constantly being interrupted by tutorials, which really takes you out of it. I realize this is to teach players how to play the game, but I also know what it means when I'm inflicted with a burn. I played Persona 5, you don't have to tell me. Or at least give me a way to turn the tutorials off. You do run into familiar faces along the way, such as Lavenza inside the Velvet Room again, who gives you a very brief read in between the lines reason for why you aren't level 99 and can't summon Setanel. I get why this happens, but the explanation does seem vague. Basically boiling down to, it's just different this time. Honestly, I've been waiting for a game to take the idea God of War 2 had, where you started off OP and then had all your power stripped away from you shortly after the opening scenes, but alas, that was not the case here. Overall, I'm giving Persona 5 Strikers an 8 out of 10. It's a great sequel to a phenomenal original. Whether you feel it's canonical or a fan service swan song to a beloved game, it's definitely worth picking up and playing. That's just my viewpoint though. What do you think? Tell us below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching and have a lovely, lovely day.